So, I've got a question. Whatever happened to due process? Like, what happened to due process? Basically, due process is everyone has their rights. Everyone. Witnesses, victims, criminals, everyone has their rights in a court. I'm not seeing that anymore. Well, granted, I've been to court. I saw it happen in court, but it's not happening on the internet anymore. And the internet is supposed to be this place of freedom and equality for all, kind of like America, just international. So the assumption is that it would run under international rules, right? But no. Apparently, Rooster Teeth is allowed to fire you just 'cause. Recently, we saw Vic Mignogna getting a lot of Me Too allegations put up against him. And hey, maybe the guy is a rapist, but a lot of the stories don't add up. There was a very good video by Lost Pause. He's usually pretty apolitical, but he had to make a 42-minute video on this. One of the stories that he brought up was about how this woman
Yuri
saw or felt that she was raped
Need a chance to catch my breath.
at a convention.
Let me run point.
Where she was trying
I'll
to
track
escape
Hammerhead,
from
figure out what he's planning. You need time to heal.
you know, the fact that she had recently been through a divorce.
Good. I need to call my
And
men's
then she
families.
claims that she was raped by
Let
someone
them know what happened.
while not
But
understanding
don't
what
leave me out of the
consent
loop.
even
You
meant,
learn
which is
anything,
odd because
let
you
me
were
know.
married.
Promise.
And
We'll
then
stop this guy, Yuri.
No.
there
not
was,
stop.
and
We're
then she
gonna nail
claimed
him
that
to
Vic
the
came in
wall.
later and pulled her hair
Hammerhead
and
made it
started saying,
personal
well, I'm
today.
going to do the same thing to
Can't
you.
let him continue to run wild.
I don't know
Been
if that's
hearing
true, though,
rumors these men are
because
posted up at the
there
bar
are some
with no
stupid
name.
people out there,
Good a place as any to
but you
start
would
the hunt.
expect someone that is married to understand what consent is. So that story seems a little off to me. And there are plenty of other cases where Vic is, you know, kissing people on the cheek or the forehead, which, you know what, maybe that's a little weird, but he claims that he's from an affectionate family. Okay. Well,
Another day.
I can't personally look into that.
New York architecture destroyed
I
by none other than Spider-Man.
I can't personally look into that because I don't know the guy, and I'm not in or around Texas.
No. Did the doctors there at one point
I have family that do, but I don't think they
against
really
their
care about this at all.
Probably. Does that mean we should let spandex-suited vigilantes swing willy-nilly through a piece of our history?
I don't know.
It is our duty.
I just don't think that people should be fired over allegations. Rooster Teeth, get your shit together and fire him after he has been convicted. Okay? After he has been convicted, you have every right and every reason to fire him. But he has not been convicted. He's been accused of kissing 13-year-olds who turned out to be 20-year-olds. That's not rape.
What say you, New York?
Well, maybe it's inappropriate. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe it was inappropriate. But I don't think that it was rape when you ask to be kissed and are of a consenting age. And then, of course, there was all the other things that are being levied against him, like being anti-Semitic and homophobic. No, the dude supports gay rights. Some of his closest friends are gay. He works at Funimation, and some members of Team 4-Star also work at Funimation. Hell, the Team 4-Star, one of their founders is gay. And he's done a lot of work at Funimation. I don't know if he's ever worked with Vic personally, but I imagine that they would have run into each other at some point. And hey, I don't know much about many of the other voice actors there other than Chris Sabat and Sean Schemmel. You know, they're kind of faces of Funimation because they're the ones that did Dragon Ball back in the day. Well, still today, really. And there's new voice actors coming into Funimation. A lot of them have some really great talent. And I imagine with the way that Funimation works that some of them are gay. Great, who cares? Nobody cares. Vic has no reason to be homophobic. He came from a very loving family. Well, maybe the fact that he's Christian. Okay. I am not anti-gay, and I have been Christian for the vast majority of my life, as long as I could understand it. Like, I've never had any reason to be anti-gay, and I'm Christian, and I know plenty of Christians that are as well. Maybe that makes us bad Christians. I don't care, okay? I really don't care. Because people are allowed to believe and say what they want to believe and say.
Let me the hell in, you idiot! Good one. I've been working on it.
But
The bar with no name. Watering hole for New York's
I don't
most
think that it is your
criminals.
right
Last time I went in there,
to
the fight
be
lasted
persecuted for
most
something
of
that you
Labor
might
Day
not have
weekend.
even done. Now, hey, maybe Vic
Now I
is a
have
rapist.
You, my adorable little
You know,
friend.
he is overly friendly. Well, there are also plenty of overly friendly people that aren't rapists. So,
Someone in here must know what Hammerhead's planning. Need to
I don't-
eavesdrop on a few conversations, see what
I
I
don't
can
know.
learn.
Vic
No
doesn't
guns,
seem
no
like that kind of
fighting,
guy.
No powers, huh? That's expecting a lot from the folks who run through here.
Yeah, but I don't want to give you my guns.
I'm sorry to inform you that those are the rules, sir. The weapon's still with
Okay? But I don't
Okay,
want
Spidey Bot.
I don't know.
Sorry,
Vic
whatever Maja repair guy has to fix this.
doesn't,
Lot of background
he doesn't
noise.
seem like a rapist to me. And I'm not just saying that because I like his
Mentions
work.
of Maja and Hammerhead.
But I'm also saying that because of how many allegations are coming out against him, and how many of them turned out to be false because a friend of the person in the photo comes in and says, no, first of all, they were of a consenting age, second of all, they asked. So, and third of all, kissing isn't rape, it's just moderately uncomfortable depending on how, depending on what your personality is. I mean, some people are severely uncomfortable with kissing. I don't know, and I know that there's a lot of long pauses here. I should be editing this video, but I can't find any decent editing software for free without watermarks. So I'm just wondering what happened to due process, because now Vic's losing his job over rumors. And hey, maybe the rumors are true, but I don't think that you should be fired over a rumor. I mean, hell, Chris Hardwick had more substantial evidence against him, and the dude came out perfectly fine. Granted, his reputation is a little tarnished now, but the dude has his job back, and he has his life back in general.
Want to stay for a beer later?
So,
Baseball. Oh, what? Like you're seeing the game? Oh, once I got baseball, the intramural, we're pretty good.
so, I don't know. Like, if Chris Hardwick, despite all the evidence that came out against him, is innocent, then I'm pretty sure that Vic is innocent of people claiming that he kissed someone that they don't even fucking know.
One of these guys has to know what Hammerhead's planning next. Which group looks shadier than the rest?
And then, of course, there's there's the whole bit about what happens if these allegations are false. Now what? Rooster Teeth, you just ruined your own reputation. And I'm just wondering where due process went, you know? And because everyone deserves their rights. Everyone deserves their rights. And until Vic is convicted
Gotta isolate their
of
vocal
these
wavelengths.
rumors, until Vic is convicted of rape over these rumors, and these rumors turn out to be true, he is not a criminal, and you treat him not like a criminal.
Think they're safer that way. Boss will show them. Gonna hit 'em all
And
at
this isn't
once.
the only time that this has
In the
happened. A
war,
16-year-old
take over the
boy
match.
a few months ago had his life ruined.
Don.
He is unhireable
takes
now
out the Dons,
because some
he'll
girls
control
said
the whole
that
Maja.
they raped him.
I have to reach them first.
And they
must know
actually
their
later
location.
admitted that they did it because they didn't like him. How messed up is that?
Now to isolate the conversation.
You know, this 16-year-old kid, his life is ruined over a
this
false
assault on the
allegation.
Maja Dons.
Hell,
Where's it
the
happening?
story
Got a location?
literally just consisted of,
New guy
he
says
walked
he
into
knows,
my
though.
house and
Hammerhead
raped
told
me.
him personally,
That was
like
it.
he says. What's up with
Where were the
movies getting
parents?
intel before us?
Did you fight back? Did you call the police?
I really hope the
No?
new guy knows where the Dons are at. Come on, new guy, you can do
Okay,
it.
well, that's a mistake. First of all, and hey, I've been in nearly been in situations like this. You call the police. Had the situation gotten to that certain point, I would have called the police. I would have been incredibly uncomfortable, humiliated, and embarrassed, but
Isolate their vocal
you
waveforms.
call the police if you are actually sexually assaulted. And you do it as soon as possible. Because the police are here to help.
You know my dad was a dentist,
Okay.
right?
Hey, heard you know where the Dons is at. Keep your voice down.
I don't know.
It's
I
just, I don't
I
know.
guess I'm just not
Come
happy
on,
with
new
the fact that
guy.
human rights are
I
being
knew it.
violated.
Friggin' new fish. But I do know who does know.
You know?
Vinny and Gino. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, rape is a terrible thing, and if hell, if anyone getting caught in the Me Too accusations are guilty, then they deserve to be put in prison for as long as possible.
Vinny and Gino, huh?
Because I would argue that rape is worse than murder. Because in both cases, the families have to deal with the trauma.
Door by the pinball machines must lead to the back. Just need to get it open.
But
Time
at
to get out of
least
sight.
with murder, this is the way I would see it. With murder, you have the consolation of at least they're no longer suffering. But with rape, who knows what the psychological effects are going to be?
Pardon me,
Like,
coming
there are people out there who are never going to get over their rape, and there are people who have gotten over it within a matter of months.
going on in there? Vinny and Gino. Some big
And some of the
of
people that are
Hammerhead's
never going to get
businesses.
over the rape have
Gotta
their
get a
whole
better
lives
look
ahead
at
of
it.
them.
Between the distillery and the auto shop?
So I would argue that rape is worse than murder.
literally.
there.
Maybe that's why I find these allegations to be
When
so
I'm done here, I'm calling MJ.
gross.
She's gonna want to know about those spots.
Some
for
of
her
the,
piece
a
on
lot of
crime
these
fights.
allegations are false, as proven with the 16-year-old kid, with Chris Hardwick. You know?
Okay, onward. Need to find Vinny and Gino. Figure out where the Maja Dons are.
I guess I just think that as much as I love the internet, it shouldn't be the mob that decides whether or not someone is guilty. What decides whether or not someone is guilty is a court of law with due process, a set of rules that the attorney, the jury, everyone in that fucking room has to follow. Everyone.
Vinny and Gino, I presume.
Not the
These
internet.
guys know Hammerhead's
Because the
next
internet, despite what's
There's
happening
notes
to
on
it
that
currently,
table.
is still effectively the Wild Web.
Sure is. From the outside.
You know, it's a lot like the Wild West.
idea what Hammerhead has in store.
There's no laws governing
Maja
it
Don's
yet.
location must be in those notes. I gotta distract the Glimmer
The
twins.
people are what govern the internet.
Damn it. That got one of them.
Much like how,
Now for the
back
other.
in the day of the Old West, the people governed the laws of the local
That
town,
makes sense.
or settlements, or whatever.
The other Dons in the same spot? What's that?
Oops.
Making it real.
Gotta distract both of them.
Why would they do that?
Crime was rampant out there, but,
They're as dumb as
you
the
know,
boss says
I
they
would say
are.
that the internet
Getting
is
scared.
fine with the way that it is,
That's why we work for
because
Gotta
there's
clear the
no
room.
murder over
Another
the
outlet,
internet.
maybe? Could futz with
If
the
there
lights.
is, there's very little.
Me?
Now's my
There's
chance.
none that I know of,
You're
at
an
least.
eclectic box in here? An electric box? That's what I said.
Dons are hiding in the Auerbach Theater. I need to reach them before Hammerhead does. Nice work, Spider-Bot. Now hide and I'll come back for you
So-
later. With several bottles of bleach.
I don't know.
Hey, MJ,
Maybe I'm just
it's
running
Pete.
my mouth right now
Yeah, I
and
have your
being
number
more
in
of a
my phone.
reactionary than I
Don't
should
have to tell
be.
me it's you.
But
Right,
honestly, I
Listen, I know
I
you're
want
working
to
on
see
that
this
piece
go to
about Maggia
court.
fronts. I found
I
something
want
that
to see
might
these
help.
allegations go to
Yeah.
court
I
instead
have the
of people
location
getting
of 4
fired
Hammerhead
over this
businesses,
shit.
and I'm willing to bet
Because
real money
false
that they're not
allegations have
legit.
happened before.
You have no money to bet.
And I would
I
rather
appreciate the
let
sentiment. I'll
guilty
look into them
people
right
go
away.
than
Why
let
don't you let
innocent
me do
people
the
get
legwork?
imprisoned.
I'll pass along what I find.
That would be so helpful. I'm on a deadline. Let's talk soon.
So, yeah. In closing, I'm pissed off that human rights are getting violated. And I want to see that end.